Hey everyone, let's have some answers to your questions. Thank you all for sending in the questions. There were quite a lot and challenging ones, like the first one. I honestly don't know if there's one booktuber that I could think of that has the same taste as I do. I do have a lot of booktubers where I think, oh, they recommend that book, I trust their taste because we like that book for that reason and they recommend that book for that reason, or this book sounds interesting, they liked it, why not try it? But there's not one booktuber where I say, like, if they like a book, then I buy it too. Michelle, I would definitely dance every step I take because I cannot sing. When I started filming my videos, I wanted to get into reading more again and thinking about what I read and talking about it. And since I mainly read English books, the choice was very simple. Also, I thought I want to reach people who read the same books that I do, so I wanted to have the feedback in English. But when I started making videos, BookTube was not a thing. I did not know that there were other people on the internet talking about books. I knew about some vloggers, but not about the vlogging culture in general. For me, it was a way of starting something new, learning something new, trying something completely different to what I've known before. And so I didn't really have any expectations or things to me when it comes to starting BookTube and a channel right now. When it comes for you to start a channel, just go ahead, do it. BookTube is a nice community, very open to everyone. You can do whatever you want and just feel comfortable about it. Don't let anybody tell you need to do this to do BookTube. You can do whatever you want. It's your channel, and as long as you are happy with it, just do it. And do the language that you feel comfortable with. Marissa, I think the first books I read in English were probably in school when I learned English, but I don't remember which ones that were. But when I moved to America and lived in Boston as an au pair, I read a lot of the books that my host parents had. So a lot of Grisham they had and Dracula and things like that. And also books that I bought there randomly. And at that time I was quite a lot into Robert Asprin and fantasy. And about the place where I'd want to go, Leah also asked this, and I honestly don't know. At the moment it's winter, but it's not really cold here. But usually I feel like I want to go places where it's warm, but I don't really have places that I want to see or haven't seen yet that I desperately want to go. So I don't know, probably Los Angeles to visit my friend, because it's warm and my friend. Jenny, I'm not a big shopper. I really don't like shopping. I'm horrible at spending money when it doesn't come to food or books. When it comes to food or books, I rarely think about it. When it comes to technology, I'm very considerate of not spending money, but when I want to have something, I just go and buy it. And clothes, I'm horrible. I don't like to spend a lot of money on clothes, and especially not on things that I don't really like. And it also always depends on what I need and what I need it for, and yeah, also how I feel. At the moment, I feel a little bit heavier than I actually want to be. So I'm seriously reluctant to buy clothes, but that leads to the fact that I don't have any trousers at the moment. I just ripped my last pair of jeans and now I'm without jeans. So I wish I had talents. I would love to be musical and drawing, painting. I would love to be able to do that. Can't do any of those. I find the favorite movie and actor question very difficult because it keeps changing all the time. I don't think I can do favorites. I mean, I don't really have a favorite Christmas story. I'm sorry, it's nothing that sticks out. And I have been to the United States quite frequently. I've lived there after school for a year in Boston as an au pair. I've been to university for a few weeks in San Marcos, Texas. I traveled around the country twice. I have friends living in Los Angeles now, so I've been there quite a few times. And yeah, New York and Washington, Chicago, places all over the place. Danielle, you really challenged me there. I had to think about that because that is not something I remember about the love interests or stories that I'm reading. But then I remember one of my childhood favorites, Aisha by Federica de Chesco. And I really loved this story. It's about an Algerian girl in Paris who falls in love with a Vietnamese guy, and her family are really traditional Muslims and not treating her well. I can recommend this book. I really, really liked it. All right, the roommate situation can be confusing. Let me tell you about the story of my flat. So I moved into my flat 9 years ago. It is not my own flat, I rent it. And I moved in with an ex-boyfriend. And When we split up, he moved out and I couldn't find a nice apartment that I wanted to live in at that time. So for the time being, to be able to pay the rent, I took on a roommate, or a flatmate rather. And we shared this flat for about 2.5 years because we both were looking for other flats but couldn't find them. So we decided we could just live together for a while. And then she moved out and moved on, and I got changing flatmates for monthly intermediate things. So for a year, I had every other month a new flatmate. And then I decided I don't want to have that anymore, lived alone for a while, but was not really enjoying that I have to pay so much rent. So I got my main flatmate then, who only slept or lived here when he had to work in Hanover and was not in Berlin, where he actually lived with his wife. So that has been the situation for a very long time. And now I have a full-time flatmate again for I don't know how long it will take, but he has moved in last month because there was a situation that he needed a new home. We've been friends for a while, and so we thought like, hey, I need a place to stay. You have a big apartment. Why don't we move in together? And I was like, yeah, why don't do that? And the reason why you never see them is, well, basically only because I share my life with you doesn't mean they have to. It is nice to live alone, but you can get kind of weird when you do that. So having a flatmate actually keeps you in check and not turning into the crazy cat lady or something. Yes, I'm single. I really don't know Miranda, but that is so nice to say of you. Thank you. Morgana, you have a lot of questions. I don't really remember which was my favorite book as a child. I don't know. It's been so long. I would like to be able to speak Spanish, not because of the reading, but generally because I think learning another language is interesting, and Spanish has been on that list for a while, but then I'm a rather lazy person and haven't gotten around to actually doing so. I have done yoga twice in my life and always found it very boring. I don't really know what I think about awards. On the one side, I find it nice because they give recommendations and introduce you to books that you may not have heard of before. And for me, the Man Booker Prize awards books that I generally like. So for me, it's always a good thing because I can go and read a book and know like, oh, this is kind of like a recommendation. But other than that, I don't really know that I follow any and that I care about any. And I'm not really sure if they're helpful or not. Not a good opinion there, I know, sorry. I try to read more in German all the time, but I never manage. I guess I read like 2 or 3 German books a year. What I like about teaching English is that I get to speak English all the time, and that I get to learn about the language and talk about the language, and also that I get to basically meet people all the time and have interesting conversations. What I like least about it is, funnily, that is also what I like least about it. I noticed that due to meeting all these people and always having these introductory conversations, I'm tiring of meeting people outside of work. And sometimes I'm just like, I don't want to talk anymore because I've talked all day. And the 5, 10, 15-year question, I don't even know where I see myself next week. I'm horrible at future decisions. A fact about me. I guess a fact about me that I wish people would understand more is that I'm not always as serious as I sound. I rarely take things seriously. I think I've mentioned this before, that I really am not interested in any erotic books or anything, so I don't remember ever reading any of those, and I'm generally not going to. Clearly not interested. Good question. I think Sven Regener's books should be translated. I think there's one that has been translated, but not the rest of his books. And I really like his dry northern German humor. I actually spent 10 years at university. The first 4 years I studied to become a teacher for math and sports for elementary school. But after that, I was just like, I don't really want to do that right now. I want to continue studying. And so I continued and studied English literature. Come on, we all know what my favorite food is. And Jenny, I don't know, maybe I should make another video talking about my relationship with food, because it keeps changing all the time. And at the moment, I'm definitely eating too much, but I don't care. It's Christmas time. Who doesn't eat too much then? Favorite German books are hard because I rarely read German books, and most of the books that I read in German are actually translated. So one of the greater books that I read in the recent years was Der Hals der Giraffe by Judith Shalansky. This is also translated into English, The Giraffe's Neck. and I really liked the writing style. Highlight of 2015. It's really difficult to say. 2015 has been such a roller coaster year with ups and downs. Let's pick a booktube related highlight. The day I spent with Claire in Edinburgh. I really had a good time there. Generally, I don't do regrets because regrets are stupid. And I wanted to rework my memoirs this year, but I haven't. But yeah, there's nothing I can change about it, and can't say I failed at it because I didn't really put as much effort in it as I had thought I would. Something I treasure more than anything else is definitely my friends. Like, friendship is, I think, the most important thing you can have in life. Do you really want me to talk about the Discworld novel again and how it influenced my way of thinking and everything and my whole life? I don't think so. There are actually booktuber meetups in Germany among the German booktubers, but I'm not really part of that community and I have not gone to any of those yet. I don't know, maybe I will in the future. And I haven't gone back and checked my videos, but I remember I had a lot of fun filming the review for Soulless, and also quite of the earlier discussion videos were very interesting. Unfortunately, YouTube has deleted a lot of the comments of older videos, so the discussion going on in the comments has disappeared a little bit. I don't know if I want to go and redo those discussions, maybe with my changed opinions now, because viewpoints and opinions change all the time if you're me. Quite a few of you asked about my tattoos, and I know I promised this before, but I'm promising again, I will make a video about my tattoos and explain them more and talk about them more, but I think it's going to be too much today because this is already 23 minutes to edit. I hope I can get it down to something that is watchable. Thank you all for being with me, for asking me questions, for watching my videos, for actually enjoying what I'm doing. Thank you, you're awesome.